Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're diving into something that, let's be honest, most of us dread, the income tax return. But what if I told you it's not just a chore? What if it's actually one of the most powerful financial tools you have? We're going to break down exactly what it is, why it's so much more than a form, and how knowing the ins and outs can seriously pay off. Let's get right into it. So let's kick things off with the big question that's probably on your mind. When you hear the words tax return, do you immediately think, time to pay the government? It's a super common feeling, right? That this whole process is just about settling up what you owe. But that's barely scratching the surface of the real story. You've got to think of it this way. Your tax return is basically your official financial report card for the entire year. Seriously, it's a formal statement that tells the world, and more importantly, banks and institutions, the story of what you earned, how you invested, and your overall financial health. And a good report card can open some pretty important doors. Which brings us right to our first big point. Why does this thing even matter so much? Let's try to forget about it being just a rule you have to follow, and instead, let's look at it as a powerful tool that you can actually use to your advantage. Okay, so step one is your legal duty. If you earn above a certain threshold, you have to file. Simple as that. But right after that, the good stuff starts. Filing is the only way you can get a refund if you've paid too much tax during the year. And just as crucial, every single time you file, you're building a verifiable history. You're building your financial credibility. And that credibility, it isn't some abstract concept. It gets very real very fast. Just imagine you're ready to buy your dream home. You go to a bank for a loan. They're not just going to take your word for your income, right? Nope. They want proof. And as one of our sources points out, banks will almost always ask for 2 to 3 years of your tax returns before they'll even think about approving a home loan. It's the gold standard of your financial health. And trust me, the benefits just keep rolling in. That return is how you claim back any extra tax deducted at source, or TDS, that's been cut from your salary. If you're a business owner, listen up. It's the only way you can carry forward a loss to reduce your taxes in a future, more profitable year. Plus, it's often a must-have for getting visas or even high-limit credit cards. This one piece of paper is central to so much of your financial life. All right, so you're sold on filing. But which one do you file? It sounds way more complicated than it actually is. It really just comes down to your specific situation. Let's quickly walk through the main scenarios you're likely to run into. First up, the two big ones. Think of the original return as your first draft, handed in right on time. This is the goal, the ideal scenario. But hey, life happens. If you miss that due date, you can still file a belated return. It's kind of like handing in your homework late. You can still get it done, but there's going to be a late fee. But what if you filed on time and then you realize, oh no, I made a mistake? Well, the revised return is basically your edit button. Maybe you forgot to claim a deduction or entered a wrong number. You can fix it. Now, what if it's a bigger deal, like you completely forgot to report a source of income? That's where the updated return comes in. It's like a second chance that you can use up to 2 years later, though it usually means paying a bit of extra tax for the oversight. It's a really useful safety net. Okay, now let's talk about the rules of the game. Because with taxes, timing is absolutely everything. Knowing the key dates and what happens if you miss them is, it's critical. Here are the 3 dates you need to burn into your memory. For most of us, the big one is July 31st. Mark it on your calendar. If you're running a business that needs an audit, you get a bit more time, until October 31st. And if you do miss your deadline, your absolute final last chance saloon to file a late or revised return is December 31st of that same assessment year. So, let's just say it. Sometimes deadlines fly by. What are the real-world consequences? What actually happens if you miss that date? Well, it's definitely more than just a slap on the wrist. First off, there's a straightforward late filing fee. If your income for the year is over 5 lakh rupees, that penalty is a flat 5,000 rupees. Just gone. It's a cost you really don't need to pay. But on top of that, if you also happen to owe the government some tax, this is where the penalties really start to sting. You'll get charged 1% interest for every single month that tax goes unpaid. That might not sound like much, but it can snowball like crazy, turning a manageable tax bill into a much bigger headache. And for all the entrepreneurs out there, this might be the biggest hidden cost of all. If your business takes a loss one year, you can usually carry that forward to lower your tax bill when you have a profitable year. It's a huge benefit. But if you file late, you lose that right. Poof, gone. It's an incredibly valuable opportunity, just lost. So let's wrap all this up. I hope it's clear by now that filing your tax return isn't just about compliance or fear. When you really get how the system works, it's about empowerment. It's about taking the rules and making them work for you. So here's a super simple cheat sheet to take with you. Absolutely do file on time. That's your ticket to refunds and no fees. And do use your tax return as that powerful proof for things like loans and visas. On the flip side, don't let those penalties stack up. And whatever you do, don't miss that deadline if you're a business owner who needs to carry forward losses. We started this by saying your tax return is your financial report card. It tells a story. So the final thought I want to leave you with is this. As you get ready to file this year, what story is your tax return going to tell about your financial journey? Thanks so much for joining me.